of several hundred people. We're a little bit further in the back now, but I think it does kind of show the scope of just how many people, how many hundreds have broke off. Again, I haven't been able to figure out where we're headed, but downtown is what's in sight at this moment. And I don't believe anything in particular was planned for downtown like it had been the previous days. This is my first time we're seeing actual law enforcement. State Patrol has pulled up here at Franklin Avenue and Nicollet. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're getting out of their vehicles. The officers appear to be in riot gear. Here, let's carefully get a little bit closer, and they're dispersing the crowd, or at least people are starting to run out of fear of what may occur. State troopers have gotten out of their vehicles. It appears as though they're trying to prevent this march from going. Tear gas has started. Again, we are at the intersection of Franklin and Nicollet, just south of downtown, and State Patrol came flying in west down Franklin, cutting this march off in half. And now they've effectively prevented this march from going any further. It's been split into two. They're holding the line. Look how quickly they got into formation and caused this group to scatter. The people that were in that immediate intersection were met with flashbangs and tear gas. And now this whole entire situation has been fractured right in the center. Okay, we have National Guards members pointing. Okay, we're getting tear gas sent our way. We're going to back up a little bit.
Out of the tear gas.
It didn't matter that there are cameras all over the place. They're throwing tear gas in our direction. We need to back up just so.
Okay, we'll try to get the helicopter over that, Jeff. Just be careful.
Be careful because
no shot.
Yeah, we are.
His video
yeah,
is
you know what? That's coming right up on us.
Over.
They're, you know, absolutely. But it appears as though there's no significance to whether or not we have a camera. They're spreading this group out and preventing this march from going any further.
That looked really intentional, Jeff. Did they cut that group in half?
Yeah, he said that they did.
Absolutely. I mean, it was out of nowhere. It was the first time I saw lights and sirens. I shouldn't say sirens, but saw lights unassociated with an ambulance, and that was fast. I mean, we saw 2 squad cars. Officers jumped out in riot gear, and I believe it might have even been there's a mixture of National Guard members and State Patrol. Let's move over here, Nick. It's a little harder to breathe with the wind.
Yeah, it is, Jeff. I saw their uniforms.
It's hard to see further down the block.
Are they arresting people that are kind of trapped in that corridor there?
No, I think they're just kind of holding formation and preventing people from marching any further. Again, it looks like now they're making a push towards us, including these news crews. Oh, man, that gentleman just took a hit from that paint gun. We need to back up. He was being interviewed. He was being interviewed by this news crew and got hit, I think, in the back of the head.
Make sure you have your media badge out.
And continue to back up.
Make sure you have your credentials, Jeff.
I'm not sure the significance of that. You know, we're just going to continue backing up. I mean, we could be more than, we're about 40 yards away, and that's not stopping the National Guards members from launching their tear gas in our direction. That was an interesting thing I've seen. That tear gas launched
Jeff.
Whatever they shot, it's as if three different elements of tear gas came out at the same time.
Yeah. Jeff, you need to get out of there.
You know what's interesting is we're seeing people with their own fire extinguishers trying to put out this situation. We are backing up. We are backing up as quickly as we can.
All right.
Okay. It appears as though the further back we've gotten now, the state troopers have held back for a second. We're further back right now. We're further back. What's surprising is in the previous evenings, when we've seen the use of force by State Patrol, it was usually following some sort of rocks being thrown, lasers. There was, a clear instigation back and forth between the protesters and law enforcement. This really happened quickly, where state troopers swooped in, and whether or not people were being peaceful, this appears to be that clear enforcement of the curfew. There's one man holding his arms up in defiance. This swift action really caught a lot of people off guard, and I think this is sending that message that the governor was talking about, that they're not going to wait. Again, it wasn't until almost midnight that we finally saw State Patrol near 5th Precinct, and I haven't checked the time. What is it, 8:30, 8:45?
8:40.
Almost 8:45.
Yeah.
And This is the first time I've seen this type of action in daylight since those early days of the 3rd precinct when police still had control of it.
Hey, Jeff, I know that you said they intentionally...
Okay, we backed up just so you...
They intentionally split the march in half. Where did you notice where the others behind you, where they ran? They just dispersed all around?
We were in the back half of the march.
You were in the back half,
so
okay.
We were cut off, and we're on the south portion of the march, and I can look ahead north, which our cameras can see, and that's where the other group is.
Well, hey, can you have Nick
I'm
look
not sure
down
what's
there?
happening in that direction.
Are they arresting people in that white van?
He's going to try and zoom in for it.
Are they putting people in that van to arrest them?
Dark beige van. I cannot tell. It's hard to see. I mean, the camera's going to have to interpret that for you.
Okay. Well, give us a steady shot and we'll take a look. I know it's hard, and I hate the fact you guys got gassed.
It's kind of hard when you're zoomed in,
I know.
especially.
I'm sorry.
It's hard for us to tell at this moment. You know, I do see the back of that van is open, but it's hard for me to tell if that meant people were being arrested. This all happened so quickly.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, this march was peaceful. There was no one was looting, no one was throwing things at windows. There was no law enforcement for them to lash out against. This all just suddenly happened, and the enforcement was quick, swift, and strong. And it surely made an impact on this crowd. I mean, almost everybody that's been in this group is already marching further south. We've seen previously where it's like the group of protesters gets pushed back, and as the officers tend to move backwards on their own, then the protesters return, and it's that back and forth dance, if you will, that we've seen for several days.